Part 1 of my husband's 6-year affair, living with another woman, and having a child with her, and pretty much living a double life.
Imagine waking up one day to discover that the man you loved, the father of your children, had been living a double life for the last 6 years. Not from a confession, but from a Facebook post. This isn't just a story, it is a revelation, okay? Hey, Rych Babes, it's Robyn Milan, and welcome back to A Rich Girl's Glow Up. Today we're going to dive into a story that shocked me, but it's so common. Annie, all right, is a very resilient woman and mother. She uncovered her husband's 6-year affair and secret child through a Facebook post. Her journey from betrayal to empowerment is not just her story, it is a testimony, all right, a testament to the strength within all of us. In this Rych Babe monologue, we'll explore the emotional depths of Annie's experience and the powerful lessons it holds for every woman. All right, Rych Babes, I will see you back at the end of her story time for us to finalize this discussion.
Part 1 of my husband's 6-year affair, living with another woman, and having a child with her, and pretty much living a double life. Okay, I first want to say, this entire time I was lied to over and over again, manipulated, many broken promises, isolated. He isolated me from everybody. I pretty much was in the house with the kids and was by myself. And this has been about 6 years of this. He's really good at lying. He's really good at putting a show on for people. And a lot of people are really surprised about what they're finding out about him. But here it goes. Okay, so this started last June. We were leaving for vacation. We drive through the night. It was 6 p.m. And he decided to tell me that he's not going on vacation and that he needed to tell me he has a child with another woman, but they have no relationship. It was a one-night stand. He barely knows the child, but he feels like he needs to be in the child's life. He has not been with the woman in years. He wasn't there for the birth, nothing. He had no relationship with her. And he told me this right as I was going to drive my kids overnight by myself to our beach vacation. And he was supposed to be the one driving us. So it was pretty shitty. So, of course, to protect my kids, I told them nothing. I acted like everything was fine. And I drove them to our beach house. We stayed the week there. My children cried every single day for their dad. Every day. They cried. They wished their dad was there. They can't believe he wasn't there. They were miserable. It was awful. I figured out some things while I was there. I figured out her name. I figured out a lot of stuff. That whole time he was texting me, begging me to stay with him, begging me to hold it together for the kids, telling me, he's going to change, he's going to get help, he's going to be better, just begging me to keep us together for the kids. My kids always go to stay in Florida with their cousins the week after we go on vacation. So they typically have like a 2 to 3 week vacation in the summer. So I drove home by myself and we had like a week together to figure this all out. So we talked, we figured it out. I told him I would try to hold it together for the kids. We were telling nobody right now. And of course, he was lying. He had a complete relationship with this child. He said he just didn't want to tell me before I left for vacation. The child does call him dad and is very attached to him. And I did meet the child that week. The next week, we told our kids, when they came back from Florida, we told our kids. They were devastated. But I allowed them to have a relationship with this child. I treated this child as my own. She was treated with love and respect, and she would come over daily. And he was telling the other woman she's just visiting with her siblings, but in the reality, he was coming home to be with his family and try to work on his family and bring us back together. So this is part one. I have a whole summer to go through, many lies, many, many bad things. So follow along and we'll go through this together. Okay, so here's part two. Now, I later found out that he didn't go on vacation with us because he was on vacation with her and her family and the kid. And that's just, yeah, mind-blowing. My children cried every day. And he didn't care. So, but I didn't find that out till much later. But we were not good. We were not doing well. We were putting on a show for the kids, a lot of playing outside, trying to do family time. We were doing a date once a week, trying to reconnect. And this was like a summer thing. I noticed his mental health was like declining, and I truly feel like in hindsight, he wanted me to leave him because he doesn't want to be the one to end it. He didn't want to be blamed to end it. And even though he is all at fault. And I feel like since I didn't end it, his lies had to continue. And so his mental health was declining. We were also doing like trips, like day trips with the kids. Sometimes we'd bring the kid with us. And I don't know why the other person didn't think this was weird. I would, buy her gifts. We had a birthday party for her at our house at the end of the summer. There's just so much to remember. It's going to come to me and I'll just keep posting as I figure it out. But I would say about midsummer, I realized I don't want to live this way. And I started to take care of myself. I started to work out and eat right. And I was just disconnecting from him because it wasn't worth my time anymore. The other thing is, like, people keep asking, like, why are you being so nice to him? I'm not being nice to him. It's just not worth my time and energy to talk to him. He takes no blame for any of this, no responsibility. Everything's my fault. My kids won't talk to him because I poisoned them against him. So it's just worthless to talk to him. So if I talk to him, it's about kid stuff. I'm not going to sit here and have an argument about the past 6 years because I need to heal myself. And that's really what these TikToks are about. I have to think about a few more things, but basically that's how our summer went. We would just play every day. He was never home at night. He was working at night or whatever, but he wasn't. He was going home to his other family. And he also works a job that it could be 24/7. There's always, it could make sense, but I knew many of it was lies and I was just avoiding. So I'm going to think over a couple more things and then I'll post a part 3 shortly. Okay, I think this is going to be a part 3. I just took a shower, washed my hair for the first time. There was a whole bunch of dry shampoo in there. I have to put a little bit of makeup on. I forgot to mention, I mentioned that my kids go to Florida every year after our vacation. And then this past year, they went to Disney World with their cousins. And I think I made my ex so guilty about what he did to our kids that, and I don't even know if he feels guilt, but he ended up driving down there to spend one day in Disney with them. And my sister told me that when he showed up, my youngest son, just cried his eyes out because he was so happy to see his dad. And little did he know, his dad was on vacation with another family and his daughter. So yeah, that's pretty shitty. But so like I said, we spent the summer just trying to repair things, trying to bring our family together, trying to welcome this child into our family. That's what I thought we were doing. It wasn't working. We weren't happy, but we pushed through. The holidays, trick-or-treating, he was like, I'm going to go trick or treat. I'm going to go see her in her costume at her house, and then I'll come visit you guys and trick or treat with you guys. But he was going with his other family to trick or treat and then coming to trick or treat with us. So a lot of fun stuff like that. We went to a pumpkin patch. Like I said, we were doing weekly date nights. It was crazy. But towards the end of the year, I was ready to leave. There's too many lies, too many excuses, too many things not adding up. I did try to reach out to the other girl multiple times. I tried to text her multiple times, but the texts weren't going through. I tried to call her, but the calls weren't going through. Come to find, he blocked me on her phone. Because I found her phone number on our cell phone bill. I sent her Instagram messages. He somehow intercepted them and deleted them. And she never read them because I told her I've sent her several messages, and she said he never saw them. I tried to reach out to her many times. We also had several planned meetings that got canceled over and over again because we were going to meet so she would meet the other woman that is in her daughter's life, and I was going to meet her. But it was never going to happen. So finally, okay, I was going to move a little bit too far ahead. Come Christmas time, she came to our house on Christmas morning. I had presents for her that she opened. I always make my kids advent calendars, like a little punch thing. So every morning they punch it and they open it up and get a little toy or something out of it. Even my kids are older, I still do it. And I included her in this. So when she would come over, she can punch the little advent calendar and get a toy or a treat or a candy. I involved her in everything. And I recently found out that he was telling people at his job we were divorced for months during this time. So during all of this, I'm accepting this kitten. I'm trying to build our family back up. I'm miserable, but I just have to clarify, I did this for my children. I was trying to hold it together for my children. And I don't think people understand that I was being emotionally manipulated, emotionally abused, lied to over and over again, made to feel crazy all the time. I felt crazy all the time. So I think people need to put that in perspective because I was made to feel crazy. So that was all, Christmas happened. Come January, 2024 is going to be our year. We're going to come back together. We're going to build our family back. We're going to be great. It was all bullshit. Okay, I'm going to wrap this story up now. Part 4. The past few months have been terrible. Still lying. A lot of leading me on that things are going to get better. Yeah, not great. And then last Monday, the girl somehow, she texted me and it came through, but I couldn't text her back. So I used my daughter's phone and texted her and told her, I think I'm blocked on your phone. Can you unblock me and text me? And then we talked a little bit about setting up a meeting. And then it got to a point where it was like confusing about the relationships. She said something and I said, I'm confused by what you're saying. And she said, well, you guys aren't divorced? And I said, no, we're married and we're actually in marriage counseling. And she said, well, I think he's been lying to both of us. And then she has not responded to me since. And I'm not trying to reach out to her because I just don't care anymore. And I wasn't shocked. I wasn't mad. I just didn't care anymore. So that's the whole story. I'm just wrapping it up. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore, ask or answer any more questions. Actually, I should say I texted her once, like a couple weeks ago. She was like, because I had a question and she didn't answer. Then I did ask her a question. I did actually ask her a question today because something came up that I didn't know about and she didn't respond to that either. But I'm not going to text her anymore. And anything with him is going to be kids only. And my divorce is starting and now I'm just going to be healing. So the rest of the videos are only going to be talking about healing and moving on from my divorce and healing my children. Good morning. I posted the last part 4 last night. I just wanted to wrap it up. I feel like I deserved to tell my story. And it felt good to tell the truth because a lot of people are not hearing the truth of what's going on and what he has done. So I just wanted to share my truth and what I went through. And now I'm going to be healing. My son has a baseball game this morning, so I got my Kendra Scott baseball necklace on. I did start some skincare this morning. I'm just going to put a little bit of eye cream on. I use the Belief. I don't even really know how to put this on. And I'm going to take a sip of water for you guys. I started drinking this yesterday. I'm still having trouble putting anything in my stomach. But I will get there. My kids and I have a therapy appointment later today. Together. With their therapist. She is a saint. She literally canceled plans for tonight. And said, just come to my office tonight and I'll meet you guys there. And she's going to give us an hour to talk and have the kids get some stuff out. So she's a saint and I love her. And she's actually been my daughter's therapist for quite a while because my daughter has a lot of anxiety and she's really helped her. So we're going to be seeing her later tonight. And I think we'll have like a little bit of a group session and then each of them will talk to her a little bit by themselves. Okay, I had to get him to his game. After the game, we're just going to do our normal Saturday stuff, cleaning up the house and grocery shopping and just relaxing until we have that appointment tonight. So I may post again later.
All right, Rych Babes, now that you've heard her story, let's get right into it. The shock of her betrayal. Discovering a partner's infidelity is already devastating, but learning about a secret family through social media, that's a betrayal that cuts very deep. Annie's story reminds us that sometimes the truth finds us in the most unexpected ways. Another thing is the power of resilience. Annie didn't let this betrayal define her. Instead, she chose to rebuild, not just for her life, but for her sense of self. Her journey is a very powerful reminder that we have the strength to rise above, even from the deepest wounds, okay? And also embracing self-worth. In the aftermath of the betrayal, it's easy to question our worth, but Annie's story teaches us that our value isn't determined by someone else's actions. We are worthy of love, respect, and honesty, okay? And the importance of community. She shared her story not for any sympathy, okay, but to empower others. Her vulnerability created a space for healing and connection, proving that sharing our truths can be a catalyst for collective strength, all right? And lastly is reclaiming your narrative. Anne took control of her story, turned the pain into the purpose. Her journey is a testament to the power of reclaiming our narratives and using our experiences to fuel personal growth, all right? So with that being said, her story is a powerful reminder that even in our darkest moments, we have the strength to rise, to rebuild, and to reclaim our lives. If you ever face betrayal, know that you're not alone. Your story isn't over, all right? So comment down below what you think of this story. Her link is in the description box if you want to support her, follow her, or whatever on TikTok. So become the woman who walks in a room and make people wonder. Secure the bag, protect your peace, and stay rich, Rych Babes. Love you.